right, moving to this story now to a NEWSMAX exclusive on a legal battle brewing between the White House and the Golden State, with a live look here in Tinseltown, if you will, from behind the famous Hollywood sign on the hills there, just after 6 a.m. on the West Coast. Good morning to you, by the way. Where the Department of Justice, we're learning this, is taking on California and Governor Gavin Newsom.
The Trump administration filing court documents this morning, charging the state of California with violating federal law by allowing transgender athletes to compete against girls in school sports. The DOJ citing Title IX. That's the 1972 law banning sex-based discrimination in education programs and activities that receive federal funding. For California, that's a lot of federal funding, up to $44 billion a year at stake for the state with the largest economy in America.
NEWSMAX Chief Washington Correspondent James Rosen was the first reporter to get his hands on this new court filing and an exclusive interview with the DOJ official who brought this action. That's Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, a familiar face here on NEWSMAX. James, good morning.
Sean and Emma, good morning to you. Today's filing in U.S. District Court in the Central District of California names two defendants. First is the California Interscholastic Federation, which stages a wide array of competitions for young athletes and is led by Executive Director Ron Nosetti. ICF is in turn controlled by the California Department of Education, run by the elected State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond, a rising star in California's Democratic Party. DOJ claims these two institutions, under these men's leadership, have violated the civil rights of girls across the Golden State by allowing transgender students to participate in girls' athletic competitions and to share intimate spaces, such as girls' locker rooms. As one example of what DOJ calls a flagrant violation of Title IX and President Trump's executive order from February, DOJ cites the ICF High School Track and Field Championships that were held in May in Clovis, California, where a transgender student won the gold in the girls' high jump and triple jump. DOJ also claims a kind of smoking gun in the fact that 3 days before the meet, ICF changed its rules to create a new pilot entry process whereby a quote-unquote biological female would receive a medal if she was kept out of the top 3 by a transgender student. The California Interscholastic Federation, the Justice Department says in its suit, through the pilot entry process and its references to quote biological female, has acknowledged the inherent athletic advantage males have over biological females, and that allowing males to compete in female athletic competitions displaces girls and denies girls equal athletic opportunities, unquote.
California Department of Education is taking federal money, which is accompanied by a promise when they applied for those grants to follow federal law, as defined as including executive orders. And so it is really, really clear, open and shut, that California is in violation of federal law while taking federal money, which has strings attached to it. So sorry, California, you can't have it both ways.
If California loses in this litigation, it could continue allowing transgender athletes to compete in girls' competitions, but only if the Golden State forfeited its federal funding, as we mentioned, nearly $50 billion a year. I asked General Dillon if DOJ will seek an emergency injunction against California receiving those funds while this litigation is underway.
There are still a few billion that haven't been drawn down yet. So we have the money. So transferring that money is dependent on California being in compliance with federal law.
So you don't need to seek an injunction necessarily?
I think we hold the cards in that regard.
In June, as a kind of preemptive strike, California sued General Dillon and her boss, Attorney General Pam Bondi, alleging that DOJ's demands that California come into compliance with Title IX are unconstitutional as a violation of the equal protection of transgender students. So all of this, Sean and Emma, it's safe to say, will be the subject of court action for quite some time to come.
All right, Chief Washington Correspondent James Rosen again with that exclusive major story coming out of the DOJ and the state of California, specifically there with women's sports. James, thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is NEWSMAX. It's real news for real people.